Hello, this is Julie and Carol from the Old Tattered Flag, and today I'm going to ask Mom to show you how to hook basic shapes. So you can see right here that she's hooking just a simple circle.
And I'm going to skip a hole, and I'm going to go to here. I'm going to pull it up. I'm going to skip a hole. I'm going to go to here. I'm following the diagram pretty good.
So you go to the inside of the drawn line.
Yeah, so that I can see where I should be for the circle. It's real easy to get off kilter with a circle.
And you, some people start on the inside of a circle. You always start to the outside?
I start to the outside and work in. There are people that start on the inside and work out. This works better for me. I think it's a thing of where you have to find what works better for you. But what I'm doing is just pulling up. Gotta turn my frame a little. As you can see, I'm still skipping a hole.
Now, why are you skipping a hole?
Because I don't want it to be too tight, especially a circle. If you are filling every hole, will be really, really very tight.
And it would distort the circle?
Yes. It would make your circle look a little bit wonky.
Sorry for the heavy breathing. That would be the dog.
I'm hooking with some different things here, so I'm going to show you. I'm putting this back in the same hole that the last one was. Then I am coming around, coming around, coming around, and I'm not liking that, so I may put it right on the line because my eye is following what I'm doing.
And also, I just hand drew that circle, so it might have been off a little bit. So she followed, since she was almost close to the end, she just kind of manipulated it more into shape to get it to end.
Now I'm right here, so I'm going to pull this last one up to be in the same hole as that one. And then I'm going to snip it, and I'm going to snip this one, and I'm going to snip this one. Now, the next time I come around to fill in, I'm going to come over in here somewhere. I don't want to be by these two cuts right here. I want to just continue to go around, which will be smaller.
Because if you started right there, you'd have tails and tails, and that would not look good.
So I'm probably going to start in here. I'm going to keep a little space between there. And then I'm going to continue right on this way. So that's how I would do a circle, just till I got to the inside. If you want, I can just continue. Is that what you want?
Sure.
Okay.
For all the shapes here,
these are different color wools. I need them to realize that. It's just I picked out what I had for number 8s, and I'm just trying to use what I have.
She picked from her scrap basket. So these other shapes that are drawn on here, we just drew them to show you basic shapes. We are going to show you the star in a moment. The heart would be done very much in the same way. Mom would start right here in the center part, come up and around like this, come back over here. You would stop hooking right here, right? Because you'd want to have a sharp point.
Right. One of these will come right down to the point. The next one will start in here.
Right.
Okay, I would fill this in, and then I would fill that in. Then when I steam
just
it...
working inwards.
Right, I'm working inwards.
Same thing here. She's going to go around, come back up here, and then start just like she did the circle and keep filling in, filling in. Now, so over to the star. A lot of people ask us about hooking stars.
There are two ways you can do stars. You can do primitive where you round the edges, or you can do points. I'm going to show you how I'm going to do a point. I'm going to start here. I'm going to start here. Makes me feel comfortable. All right. So I am coming down.
Again, to just inside the line.
Always inside the line, not outside the line, because it bulks it up. Okay, as you can see, I've got to come down to here, so I'm going to turn my frame a little bit, and I'm going to go over to this one. And I'm going to do this, and this, and this, and this. Now, this is how I do it. I just cut this right here. And then I turn my frame so I'm working this way. And I'm going to come in here nice and tight. Too tight. I'm going to pull it. Going to pull it. Going to pull it. Change the direction I'm going again.
Spinner frame is great for that.
Yes, it is. I'm going to go down here to the edge. Now I'm I'm not bad. I'm going to trim it again. I'm going to clip it. I'm going to turn my frame. Come in as close as I can.
When you're hooking stars, when you're hooking a lot of smaller shapes, they don't look good until you start putting the background
Right.
in.
You've got to get everything in there. Okay, so now that I'm at the end of this one, what I would do is I would start anew and come down to here. Cut it, come up here, go here, cut it. Only cut the outer points. You don't cut the inner points.
Except for if you're starting a new strip, and that's a real bummer that you didn't make it to the end.
Right. So when I'm starting in on this now, I'm going to take this so you can see. I'm going to try to fill in here as quick as I can.
So pretend that
Right
she's
here.
done the outer edge on the whole star.
So I'm going to come in,
Oh, sorry.
come in, and I'm going to try to get my cut one that I want to cut right there. So that I've kind of, that is my dog snoring. I'm sorry.
She's having a good Sunday nap.
Yes. So as you can see, now if I was going to round these edges, I'm trying to see how long I have here. I can probably bring this one right around to show you. So this, I'm just starting here, never cutting on my inside edge, just turning your frame so that you're bringing it down, skipping about every other hole. All right, I'm down here. So I want to make this a primitive rounded star. I'm not going to cut it, but I'm going to turn my frame. And then I'm going to come in as close as I can.
Wow, dog.
and I'm going to keep coming down.
So because you're such a good hooker, it still looks somewhat sharp and crisp to me, not so much rounded. But by cutting your ends right here, snipping them, it just makes it just a little bit more
This is
sharp.
when you'll be able to tell the difference. When I put my background in, this one will be rounded. When I put my background in here, then I'm going to take my scissors and I'm going to cut this point a bit. I'm probably going to take it and shape it just a little bit.
So yeah.
And I might shape it a little bit this way. This is awkward for a left-handed person. So that's my star. Not finished.
Nice sharp points.
I'm not finishing anything. Now I'm going to show you a heart.
You don't have to show the heart because
No?
we talked about that with the circle, but would you show how to hook those berries?
Yep. These are all different size berries. I'm going to take this one here. I'm going to start right there. I'm going to put a loop in.
You're doing a turn.
My frame. I'm going to put a loop in, and then I'm going to come up into where I started, and I'm going to cut this. Again, when my background...
I have never done it that way.
No?
No?
When my background is put in, it's going to form that all...
Yeah.
Let me put a background in.
Even I learned something.
Let me put a background in here, and you'll see. I don't want to start my background right where I started that. So I'm going to start over here. Okay? I'm trying to bring it in as close as I can. I don't know if you can see I'm coming in close right there.
hooking a little bit tighter than normal because
Yes.
you want that berry
I
to
want
take
that
shape.
berry to take shape. This was not exactly a good color to show you because to me, the berry does not pop out like it should. All right, this is my background. I would take and trim this little thing for that berry, and that's my berry because I've come right straight around it again.
And as you keep putting more background in, it's going to push
It'll
everything in and
keep
compress
pushing it in.
So show me this smaller berry before we leave.
Sometimes if I'm doing a real small berry, just a touch of a berry.
Or a dot. Yeah.
Or a dot, I will make what I call a U. I've come up once. I've come up twice. I'm going to cut it. Now when after I've worked a circle around this, I will kind of take my scissors and work that berry like that. So once I put something around it, let's see what I can get to put around it. This one is kind of hard to say. You got to start at a different end because I've only made 2 little loops. But I'm coming in very close, trying to stay very, very close to what I hooked for a berry. And again, the spinner frame does make a big difference for me.
Shameless plugs. Spinner frames can be found at theoldtatterflag.com.
That is a plug. Now here I want to go real tight. So I'm going to put one in there. And then I'm going to put one back where I started again.
So it's dark fabric, but you can see that tiny little berry.
But you can see the tiny berry and see the bigger berry.
Right. So obviously leaves are much the same as all these other shapes. She's going to have a nice pointed edge, so she's going to hook all the way around here. And she's doing it over here.
I'm going to just show you that how I would do it. Again, I want the points to be at the end. Unless I wanted a rounded one, then I would turn that corner. But otherwise than that, I'm going to bring it up. I'm following the curve. Follow the curve of the leaf on the inside. And I'm going to turn it. And I'm going to go the other direction. As you can see, I'm sticking to the inside. And I just pop that out. And it's not a big deal. Just put it back in. Pull this through. When I get to the end, I just want to show you what I do with the leaf. I'm coming back down into my one where I did here. I'm going to cut this. I'm going to take the rest of what I have and I'm going to come into the center. I'm not going to try to really checker full everything. I'm going to come in here. I'm going to pull that up. I'm going to skip a couple of loops. I'm going to pull this up. I'm going to skip a couple of loops. I'm going to pull that up. I'm going to do one more. I'm going to cut it. And the same thing applies to this, to everything else. When you put your background in, it's going to shape that leaf, and then I would trim these so that I couldn't see the end of these.
I have been guilty of packing shapes to try to fill them in as much as possible. And then what happens is it distorts your shapes when you're starting to put your background in. It makes them look too full, and it almost makes them rise up a little bit.
Yes.
Because they're too packed and too full. So
I'm inclined to do that with a circle.
Right.
I pack them tight, and they kind of bubble up. They kind of get like a 3D look, so you have to be a little bit looser in what you're doing.
Be looser and trust your background that it's going to take care of a lot of sin.
So if I can take this away, maybe they can see a little bit better.
Yep. That's shapes, and come back and we'll show you how to put your background in. Also, be sure to look for other videos by the Old Tattered Flag, both on YouTube and our website, www.theoldtatteredflag.com. Thank you very much.